case scenario, you're down 2-0. Best case scenario,
From Patriots Point, a brand new USL season has arrived. We welcome you to the Low Country, Charleston, South Carolina, the setting. This is the USL on ESPN+. Tonight it's FC Tulsa coming off back-to-back postseason appearances, matching up against the Charleston Battery and new head coach Connor Casey. It's the opening weekend of the USL Championship. It's great to be alongside Bruce Silverman. I'm AJ Ricketts. Let's start with a refresher on the destination these teams start their journey towards today. The USL playoffs, and it's a new format this season. A top 7 spot in the East and West will earn you a playoff position rather than the top 4 in a number of divisions as previously done. Last season, Orange County SC represented the West in a title game victory over Tampa Bay Rowdies. So many storylines to look forward to in the 2022 campaign. A number of those here in Charleston this evening. Let's start with the Battery's new head coach, Connor Casey. The former United States international, earned 19 caps for the U.S. men's national team. Now he leads Charleston into a new era. Bruce, all indications point towards a pressing, attacking style of soccer.
Look, this is a guy who absolutely has the pedigree. 2000 Olympics, CONCACAF Gold 2005. Charleston was 10, 15, and 7 a year ago. They finished their campaign with 3 straight losses. He's got MLS pedigree as well. It is going to be a new era of Charleston Battery soccer.
FC Tulsa wants to take the next step in the playoffs this season. One of the best goal scorers in club history is back to help them accomplish that. Forward Rodrigo da Costa tied for the franchise lead in goals, the all-time leader in assists. He looks to help that front line once more.
He should be fantastic, and he's going to be on that left side in the middle along with Dario Suarez, who is himself an incredible scorer. Scored a lot of goals with Miami FC, so that should be a tandem to look for.
It's time for a new USL season to begin. Charleston's a playoff regular, yet last year on the outside looking in. Tulsa has ambitions to get back and take the next step. Their journeys kick off when we return. It's the USL on ESPN Plus from Patriots Point.
This is your vacation, your beach, your fields of green, skies of blue, mountains of majesty. You're an athlete, you're obsessed, you're in love, you're in pain, spirit drained, in agony, fighting gravity, because you made a commitment to yourself and others to work on your game, build your frame in blazing heat, exhausted and beat. You're not alone, you're supported, pushed, tested, tried, trued, broken, fixed, and put back on track to do it all again. Your road is long, an open highway completely secluded, jammed with traffic, horns blaring, sirens screaming, speed limit, near misses, head-on collisions, body shops, rest stops, so many tolls to pay. Your destination isn't a place, it's a record, a dance, a feeling. Hands in the air, stands on their feet, joy all around. Because when you refuse to yield, your spirit is revealed. You are an athlete. MUSC Health, Sports Medicine.
As a child, I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to give back to the community. Going to college, that's the first step. And the Life Scholarship just opened up doors because you're getting additional funding while I was continuing my education. I saw that there was a need in the community, so I started mentoring students within that community. I feel satisfied when they have that aha moment. It's so cool.
You need more layers, diagonal layers.
I got it, Ron. Thanks.
Leave him alone, Dad. Oh, honey, you should use ice blocks instead of cubes.
No, Bud Light Seltzer goes on top.
Diagonal layers.
Did you pre-chill the Bud Light lemonades?
Need more ice.
And diagonal layers.
I mean, if you're gonna do it right.
I don't need my hands getting cold.
Why don't you try using the Plumsky method?
Brings out the citrus notes.
Dad?
Gotta crush the ice, son.
Okay, I'm out.
What's his problem?
Whenever packing the cooler really matters, there's a Bud Light there.
Tonight's Charleston Battery broadcast is presented by Volvo and also by MUSC Health Sports Medicine. Welcome back. Let's take a look at the starting lineups brought to you by Bud Light. We start with Connor Casey's Charleston Battery. Joe Kuzminski will be in goal after dealing with a 2021 campaign with some injuries. He is healthy and looking to have a nice season. Brett St. Martin, a recent signee as well. Preston Kilwine comes down from the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Got Augustine Williams and Aiden Apodaca on the front line for Charleston Battery. Meanwhile, for FC Tulsa, led by head coach Michael Ensian, back-to-back postseason appearances. Brian Brown will be up front. As we talked about in the open, Rodrigo da Costa, Joaquin Rivas, that's a very formidable couple pieces for FC Tulsa.
Absolutely. There are firepower from a number of different places for both of these teams. First game of the season, and the reality comes that there's expectations all over the place, and sometimes you have to prove those expectations. And now that they've laced up and we're about to blow the whistle on the 2022 season, it's time to find out who the best team in USL Championship is.
A new year is underway. Glad to have you with us on ESPN Plus. It's FC Tulsa and Charleston Battery from Patriots Point this evening as their initial clearance is deflected out of play. Let's take a look at the injury report brought to you by MUSC Health Sports Medicine. Nothing for Charleston this evening. For FC Tulsa, Bradley Bourgeois and Jorge Corrales questionable this evening for the club from Oklahoma. Keys to the game this evening brought to you by Gildan, a leader in high quality, comfortable apparel basics located right here in the Low Country. For Tulsa, beat the press. Charleston maintain the mentality. And for Tulsa, look, they know Connor Casey's mentality. It'll be interesting to see how they adapt to it here this evening.
Well, it'll be interesting to see, you know, when you look at a new coach, you can have a game plan, but then you have to execute it. And sometimes it's just a matter of feeling out what the coach wants, and everybody has to earn their keep.
Maybe a throw in here for FC Tulsa. Well, it's interesting. We take a look at the replay here.
Yeah, just a little shove at the end of that. Nothing too much. At the end of the day, Rivas might have been selling that one a little bit. But early in a match, you want to make sure that you can communicate with the referee and what you want to accomplish. And sometimes selling it can get you some calls down the road.
The referee tonight, Joshua Encarnacion. It's a windy evening, as you can see, in the Low Country. 48 degrees. Temperatures falling throughout the course of the night. 20-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Sometimes that's just the way it goes here early in the USL season.
Well, not only that, you've got a weather system coming in that's going to affect the entire eastern seaboard and the south. So you're already seeing it in South Carolina. They'll be seeing it in Florida a little bit later on in the day and the evening. But wind certainly to play a factor in this match. And that's something that both of these teams are going to have to get used to, is how they can play the wind to their advantage. And there's a situation right now as you see the Tulsa player go down on that header. Normally you would see keepers kick the ball well past the midfield stripe.
Sure.
And in that case, ball got up in the air and it just died.
Early collision here in the 3rd minute as the athletic training staff comes out to attend to it.
So as we talked about, ball gets up in the air, just can't get anywhere. In that 50-50, you see Booth going up for the home team. Hard to make out who is actually going for that one for Tulsa.
visit SeatGeek.com to get
And all those kind of collisions or balls that hit you in the wrong spot, it's only magnified when it's 40-something degrees out rather than a hot day outside.
No, that's absolutely true. Believe that was that Acosta or Rivas?
Looks to be walking off all right, just needs a moment or two. That is Acosta.
So he'll
Acosta, excuse me.
Be checking back in momentarily. Yeah, you talk about the weather, and it will certainly be a factor. So number one, you've got cold temps. You've got high winds, so that's even colder on the wind chill.
Charleston trying something here early. Back out of the box, but Mattery retained possession before it's harmlessly played Sean Lewis.
So wind playing a factor. 48 degrees probably feels closer to 40 or less. And when you take a well-struck ball to the head, it's going to smart. And if you look at those flags at the left side of the picture, when the goal is visible, you see that wind is directly in the keeper's face.
Yeah, theoretically, Charleston would have an advantage here in the first half, playing with that wind.
Well, they do to a certain extent, because the ball at least is going to be a little bit truer than going into the wind. But once the ball gets up there and starts moving around, it's difficult to really time things.
Sure. So look at Michael Encian in his 4th season guiding FC Tulsa. He's talking about where his team's at before the season. Said, look, we've seen what we need to improve. We have an idea of the things we're good at. We just need to continue on from there. We've gelled as well as we can here in the early parts of the season. He has established an identity and culture in his time at FC Tulsa. As a foul here will be taken quickly.
Yeah, Tulsa coming into the leagues had a lot of success. Charleston, one of the longer tenured clubs.
And they didn't know what to do at the end of last season and not getting ready for a playoff match. That's just not how it works.
Well, when you win, when you have the kind of winning mentality, it's difficult, as you said at the beginning of the show, to be on the outside looking in.
And a look a few moments ago at Matt Sheldon in the Charleston starting lineup this evening. We spent plenty of time with FC Tulsa, who's looking to advance possession here in the attacking third. Now a shot from distance, just over the bar, and an early opportunity for FC Tulsa. And I think the keeper might have had a hand on that. Let's take a look.
It's a nice move to the outside. Here's Suarez, just tees it up with that right foot. And there's one of those situations where you're kicking into the wind, but Dario Suarez's leg is so incredibly strong. You saw that thing stay true. It just kept rising and rising and rising, and it rose about a yard above the bar, so we stay 0-0 through 7.
Dario Suarez, who was re-signed ahead of the regular season after a terrific 2021 campaign, was second on the club with 9 goals in the regular season. Had a tally in FC Tulsa's Eastern Conference quarterfinal match as well. It's actually a Sports Center top 10 play. He can make some magic happen on the field. Nearly had an early goal tonight. That'll be a foul. Charleston thought they had a numbers advantage there.
Yeah, we talked about Suarez in the opening when we were talking about DaCosta, and Suarez is just flat out a scorer. That left side, he loves that right foot, can really fire. You just saw what he can do from distance. And I really do expect that Suarez and DaCosta can be that 1-2 combination that can make defending so difficult on the left side.
Well, he's only been on the team for 2 seasons, partner, and he's 4th in franchise history in goals with 18 of them. Imagine he'll keep climbing up that list. So it's 4, but that'll be easily handled. It's the first time these two organizations have met in the history of these two teams.
I think both of these teams need to settle down just a little bit, get used to this wind. Ball is spending some time in the air, and the higher the ball gets in this wind, the more difficult it's going to be to really prepare for anything.
Adrian Disbay committing the foul there on Augustine Williams on the near side. Looks to be all right. The 24-year-old Sierra Leone international. He's with the San Diego Loyal last year on loan from LA Galaxy. Free kick played into the box, and Lewis is there to track it down with relative ease. It'll be a throw in here for Tulsa.
Tulsa doing a really nice job right now of controlling possession, going station to station, keeping the ball on the ground.
And now a breakaway here after it was misplayed in the back. Here's going to be an opportunity for Williams. Pushes it forward. It's the opening tally of the 2022 campaign. And it's Augustine Williams putting Charleston on top.
There's the answer to the trivia question, who is going to have the first goal for Charleston in the 2022 season? Mr. Williams, number 9. He does a great job right there. It looked like there was a handball. Fans were calling for it. Breakaway right there. And that lead pass, and what was really nice about that is Williams opens up his body, sees that he's got the near post, and he goes that way.
A terrific pass from Apodaca. And Williams did a nice job of keeping that simple. Almost passed it into the net.
He really did. He had to wait to see the angle that the goalkeeper was going to give him, and he just punched it that way. There wasn't a lot on it, but it was in the perfect position to get the job done, and nice moves on the goal celebration on the other side.
Getting a little gritty with it. FC Tulsa looking to answer. Not a bad effort. Just outside the 6, and rises over the bar. FC Tulsa's had a couple opportunities in the first 11 minutes.
Yeah, both of these teams are creating opportunities, which is nice, because opening game, you don't know a lot about any club in the league.
All right.
You know, we had talked about it earlier in the day. You can sit and you can watch film as the season goes on, but opening weekend, everything is new and it's fresh. The teams that are supposed to dominate don't. The ones that are supposed to be the dogs end up being the Cinderellas. That's what makes this beautiful game so much fun.
Michael Ensian was talking about that a couple of days ago. Said we really don't have much film on Charleston, especially the fact they have a new coach. So we're going to focus more on us, at least for this game. A dazzling goal brought to you by Diamonds Direct. Scored in the 10th minute by Augustine Williams to open up the Charleston Battery. Scoring this season. What a strike. A finish, I should say.
Absolutely. So, you know, you take a look at the flags right now. Charleston playing with the wind at their back. So one of the strategies might be go at goal as often as possible in the first half. Take advantage of having the wind at your back and the difficulty that the visitors are going to have going into the wind. As you see, on a normal day, that ball is easily clearing midfield.
How much more do you feel you have to possess and pass, distribute the ball on the ground on a evening like this in these conditions? Change your look.
For a team going into the wind like that,
sure,
they've got to keep the ball on the ground.
Yeah.
Because any ball that gets up in the air, anything can happen. You can get a ball that goes up in the air and comes right back at you, depending upon the angle of the wind. For Charleston, they can play a little bit more aerial, but they will benefit from keeping it on the ground because they're going to have to get used to playing that way when they switch after the break.
Yeah. And we'll try to have a large tally and advantage as they can before that. Second 45 minutes comes. But even into the win, FC Tulsa has been admirable in the first 13 minutes plus.
You know, it also always helps to open up a season at home.
Right. Charleston glad to be starting this year at Patriots Point. No Claudio Repetto on the roster this year after he transferred to Phoenix Rising FC after leading the team with 9 goals last year. Plenty of players ready to take a step forward in their development.
And Phoenix with an incredible season a year ago, named Darnell King their captain, the right fullback, a veteran of American soccer.
That was a nice takeaway at a right back from Charleston. Going back and forth here on the far side. An equally impressive tackle. Matt Shelton getting in there. Still in play now inside the 18. It's going to be pushed across. Will there be another? Oh, just outside the reach of Williams. And the flag came up, though, on that far side.
Late flag on that. Williams just didn't break on it enough. Actually, technically, probably broke too much. As we take another look at this one. And there is, yep.
Shaq Adams, I think, who was off. Williams might have been, too.
Might have been a matter of who was offside more.
Take your pick. Officials all over it. Crowd continues to file into Patriots Point. Actually, Tulsa was planning to host a watch party at their stadium at One Oak, but we talked about those winter conditions a little bit earlier. You can see it's already kind of frigid in Charleston, certainly much more so in Oklahoma at the moment. Had to cancel that. But supporters still certainly locked in to match number 1 of this USL campaign.
Yeah, you get into the second week of March and you think that things are going to start to thaw out. That isn't always the case. I don't think anybody that's wearing a kit and running around on this pitch is thinking I'm going to lose an hour of sleep tonight.
No.
But that's certainly a factor as well, especially for Tulsa, who's going to travel home.
Showing a good throw deep into the box. Headed away momentarily, played back in. Lewis will watch it sail out. Celebrating its 75th anniversary, Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. Choose what you play with at www.selectsportamerica.com. Select League's choice, player's choice. Well, an evening like tonight, high winds, cold temps. Reminds me of my my high school playing days, partner, but I was watching from the bench, so I was even colder than the guys that were playing.
Yeah, I think at this point it's just safe to say I've always had a headset on. How's that?
Don't sell yourself short now, Bruce. I imagine you had an illustrious youth career.
The last time I think I kicked the ball was many years ago in in an actual PK shootout with Fafa Pacalt, who now plays for the Houston Dynamo.
Those memories still crisp.
I won.
There you go. You don't forget that. Pacalt is down at midfield. It looks like he'll be all right. Let's take another look.
Yeah, just a little rubbing his racing from behind. You're always going to plead that it wasn't your fault and that you didn't foul, but not really going to get away with that.
Petar Chuich was with Sporting Kansas City 2 last year. So spent 2 seasons there. The one pleading his case. Here's Williams, a goal scorer thus far tonight. And this will be a corner kick for the Battery.
I don't want to emphasize too much what the wind is doing, but it is definitely a factor for these teams. You know, you had mentioned, is it easier to go with the wind at your back? It is, but you see what happened right there as the ball just sailed away. This should be really interesting in terms of a corner, because the ball gets too high, it might just find its way blowing into the goal.
Pickett to take it. Looking for an extra foot or so. Is that too far out?
It is to me, but You know, it's 2022. Anything's possible.
Yeah, just roll with it here in the 19th minute. And you see the effects right there. Here, referencing it.
Yeah, the next time you see a corner, you may see the ball aimed a little bit more towards the spot, just hoping that it is going to blow back. But that's just part of the learning curve of what these players are going to have to deal with tonight.
And muscle memory isn't really used to trying to locate it towards the spot, you know?
Muscle memory right now is kind of out the door, because don't forget, not only do you have the win, this is also the first game of the season. So you played a couple of preseason warm-ups, but those are more just to get your sea legs, get a little fitness in. Most guys are going for 45 minutes, 60 minutes. Nobody's paying attention to the substitution rules, in and out, and you're trying to get into game position, but you're also trying to work out a number of things that you're working on in practice. And you talk about practice, at some point you're tired of looking at guys that are wearing the same kit as you.
Not a game, practice. We're talking about practice.
Practice. Practice.
Andrew Booth committed the foul early, the former FIU midfielder. Now a yellow card will be issued to Brett St. Martin, the new Charleston signee, University of Maryland alum.
So 20th minute in the book for Mr. Encarnacion.
Yellow card brought to you by Spink's Convenience Stores, located across South Carolina. See that left foot trip up the attack there.
And this is an interesting angle from where they are. First of all, it's got some distance, and they're smart to keep it on the ground in this position.
Played forward, Tulsa centers. Pinballed around a little bit. And the left foot strike is well off target here. From Malebo Maloto. We'll have to deal with some nagging injuries over the course of the 21 campaign. Ended up with 23 appearances last year, 20 starts. Hear the supporters chanting, "The goal is over here." Let them know about the miss.
Gotta love supporters of the trash talk.
Absolutely.
And then on that goal kick, you see a complete different aspect, is that ball just kept going and going.
Flag should be up here to this. And the supporter section was ready to go here early this evening. Tailgate lots open at 4:30, ready for a new season to begin at Patriots Point. Augustine Williams, the lone goal tonight thus far in the 10th minute. The scoring or offensive production wasn't necessarily the issue for these clubs last year. For Charleston, 60 goals conceded over the course of the 2021 campaign. That was the most the club had allowed in its entire history. And for Tulsa, it wasn't much better. Conceded 54 times. That was the 9th most in the championship. So you've seen some additions and some departures along the back line for both of these teams because of those numbers.
At the end of a season, every club will sit and assess. They do it during the course of the season. They start talking about who do we want to bring back, what kind of player do we want to bring in. You start forming your following season as the season goes. And now we find ourselves in the opening match of the 2022 season.
And it didn't take long for Charleston to start their scoring off again. Tulsa now moving around the back third. You're seeing that attacking style that Coach Connor Casey is looking to implement.
Well, they're playing a pretty high line right now, which is making it difficult for Tulsa. So Tulsa's got to deal with the fact that they have to be super precise on their passes, and then they're also dealing with the fact that they don't have very good passing lanes right now. So Casey coming out with a really good game plan, knowing exactly how he wants to play and how he wants his club to open up, and we've got another yellow card being handed out.
That'll be on DaCosta. They'd rather not see accumulate cards over the course of the season. Yeah, in that Carolina Challenge Cup, Charleston went 1-2 against MLS squads through the course of that. Actually picked up a 1-0 win over Charlotte FC. And the two defeats were to Inter Miami and the Columbus Crew. And Connor Casey was kind of splitting those matches up into thirds. He was using trialists quite often over the course of those games. But said, hey, look, those matches were good for us. We got the chance to evaluate a lot of players that were on our rosters. This is headed wide. Not a bad effort from Charleston there on the free kick. Let's see how close he got there.
So this ball gets up in the air and then headed on and just headed out. And it's one of the things that we keep talking about throughout the broadcast is what the wind is really doing. And that's a difficult play for Charleston to pull off, because going up for a header when the ball is kind of just moving around in the air, it's difficult to time it properly, and it goes wide left. By the time these guys figure out how to play the wind, it'll be 90 minutes and we'll be on our way home.
Be a throw in here for Tulsa. Going back to Coach Casey's thoughts on that preseason schedule. He said that we broke the match up into 30-minute segments, and because of that we were able to play at a high intensity and get a good idea of where our players at, or what we want in terms of our style of play. But it's interesting trying to incorporate that new style against different levels of competition, whether it be those preseason scrimmages against perhaps an NCAA team or an MLS competition.
But what's really nice about USL Championship teams playing against MLS teams is you get your young players to really understand what it's like to be a professional.
Right.
They see what it takes to play at the MLS level. And then you've got a number of guys in USL Championship that have played overseas, that have played at MLS. So it's just kind of a reinforcement on what it is to be a professional and a professional soccer player.
Two new teams in the USL this year. We'll certainly speak more about that at the half, as this is played high in the air. Pop fly of sorts as Charleston looking to get possession back. And it seems like the league right now, partner, in a good place as it continues to expand and create a profile nationally, and also invest itself in each city's community that it's in.
Well, there's no doubt. You're talking about the new teams, and one of them being Detroit City. And what an incredible story for American soccer. Detroit City starting as an amateur club, working their way up to the point where they have earned their right to play in USL Championship. It'll be interesting to see how they do against the competition.
Right.
With an incredible fan base. And the fans in Detroit just so incredibly happy to be playing at this level.
Monterey Bay, the other expansion team this season. Detroit's had success, whatever level they've been at. It'll be fun to see the transition here to the USL this season. Not an easy start. I think they're at San Antonio tonight. Double check, that's Detroit or Monterey Bay. Approaching the 28th minute here in Charleston. Back in the attacking third. This will be a corner kick for the Battery.
So we saw what happened on the other end. So now they're going to go up. The wind's still going to blow in the right in the goalkeeper's face into the goal. Be interesting to see how it gets lifted. Look to see this ball played a little bit more into the 18 rather than a little bit closer to goal, because we saw the side netting the last time.
I think it will walk over to take it once more. In his fourth season with the Battery, 59 total appearances now. See how he adjusts from the opposite side. High in the air, played in, and it'll be a foul on Charleston.
There was a better look this time out. I still would like to see it a little bit more into the 18. Give some guys a little bit more room to maneuver.
And not much in either of those corner set pieces for Charleston, who Time to throw in here. It's Brett St. Martin. Picked up the yellow card a few moments ago. Initiates. Pair of yellow cards issued today. One on DaCosta, one on Brett St. Martin.
Yeah, Tulsa needs to get DaCosta a little bit more involved in the play. Also needs to get a little bit more of Dario Suarez involved. We saw early on what Suarez can do.
Nearly started the scoring off, was just a foot or so above the bar on an excellent strike from well outside the box. Tulsa had one other opportunity at a tough angle. Other than that, it's been Charleston with majority of possession. Tulsa certainly holding their own.
A third of the game in the books. Tulsa needs to do more of this.
Haven't seen them in space a lot from the midfield. Two teams kind of in the middle of the pack from the USL Power Rankings preseason, which was published a day or two ago. Tulsa ranked 14th in the league. Charleston 20th, and now another yellow card will be issued. This one to Matt Sheldon, the former FC Tulsa midfielder.
Take a look at ground level from this challenge. Just got him a little bit from behind, trying to make a charge on the ball. So now you have both fullbacks for Charleston sitting with yellow cards.
The yellow card brought to you by Spink's Convenience Stores, located across the state of South Carolina. Free kick played deep. Deflected out of play. It'll be a goal kick. Sheldon was the first new player signing for the Battery after Connor Casey was appointed as the head coach. Played 3 seasons with FC Tulsa. I imagine he has a good idea of the scouting report and what Michael Encian's trying to do. More so, at least, than Tulsa has of Charleston tonight.
That's one of those hopeful things, or helpful things.
Kuzminski has it lined up, ready to send away with the wind at his back. Good touch there from Williams, who retains possession. Now it's pushed forward. Booth. It'll be a Charleston throw-in.
That started out as a really good possession for Charleston. They just ran into a brick wall, unable to break through, but they keep possession.
So there's that miscue along the back line around midfield from Tulsa that led to the breakaway from Charleston, the 2-on-1 opportunity. Apodaca the assist. Williams finished the play. Some great poise, and one of his first opportunities of the season as well, really, when you think about it.
He showed a lot of poise. He showed a lot of patience in just making sure that he knew where the keeper was going to be.
I mean, he made that look very technically sound and simple. It really is not so. Here's the foul. Reaching the arm across. Leland Archer won't get away with that.
I don't think there was a lot of malice in that one. I think it was more Archer just trying to stay on his feet.
Yeah. So Maloto to take the free kick. Just a handful of players to have 150-plus career appearances. It's pinballed around here. Can Tulsa line a shot up? Off the left foot, it's blocked. Rivas was trying to put a shot on goal, but Charleston was up to the task.
Good free kick. Just on the rebound, taking too long to even decide to tee it up. Sometimes you can get in your head, just think too much, and that's exactly what happened here. Good chip in, gets punched away. And Rivas, he just waited too long to even decide if he wanted to take a shot.
Brian Brown was trying to play it in there. I haven't said Brown's name that much here tonight. Jamaican forward arrives with FC Tulsa after being traded from Mexico United. Playing up front tonight. This is sent in, headed away. Shot off. The deflection was well off target. Maloto. Now it's played far side. Starting to see a little bit more ambition from FC Tulsa. Here's a strike, and it'll be well left of the post. Second shot today for Dario Suarez. Didn't get enough of that.
Yeah, Suarez will probably want that one back. Just didn't put a lot on it.
Similar spot from where his first shot attempt was. That really gave Kuzminski a bit of a sweat.
And I wonder if the way that he missed the first one kind of contributed to the decision that he just made on the second attempt.
Right. It's perhaps Tulsa's best spell of possession here in the first half.
They seem to have settled into the game a little bit more. Playing with a little bit more confidence.
Sheldon will play it forward. Will they get a chance here? Charleston wants a penalty. And we're going to get a whistle now. A card will be issued, though. Oh, and some more altercations after the play. Let's see what all took place here. Pickett took issue.
Very frenetic play leading up to this.
Well, the yellow card is going to Pickett. Certainly tried to sell that.
So 36 minute, and he's in the book.
They've been handing out yellow cards like candy this evening. First half.
1, 2, 3, 4. It's not quite Halloween, but it's close.
Issued to Charleston Batteries number 10, Romario Pickett. Yellow card brought to you by Spinks.
Pause here on the announcement. Not sure. I don't know if the officials are ready before that goal kick was taken. Now we're back underway. Also trying to develop through the middle on the other end. Well played along the back line. Can Charleston start another break here? This is a similar fashion how they scored their first goal. Numbers advantage for the Battery. It's centered. Booth. No! Nearly 2-0.
Outstanding on the counter. And just the speed on this one. You got the room, you have the space. There's Numbers and friends to the left. That's where the pass went, and Booth just put too much on it. He just kind of punched it rather than sweeping through it.
Well, Dispay came in at that last moment and perhaps influenced the shot. Or the angle for Booth there.
You know, I think that was a situation where if we were in the 5th or 6th game of the season, he buries it.
Right.
First game of the season, you've got some opening night jitters. You've got, an opportunity to prove yourself. And sometimes you just get a little lazy on the shot. And I think that's exactly what happened here, and Williams is down.
I think that speaks to how impressive Williams' tally was in the opening 10 minutes. Just passing it into the net.
Williams just trying to take on Moloto as well as DaCosta.
Charleston with that high line.
It served them well throughout the evening.
Charleston trying to add one more tally before the end of the half. Can Tulsa even up things here? Plenty of space on the far side for FC Tulsa. Played into the box, chipped forward, and just a bit too strong. Tulsa still with it. Played in once more. Got a shot off.
Yeah, nice one-timer.
Inside the 18, left foot in wide as Brian Brown was trying to create. Well, FC Tulsa actually has the advantage in shot attempts tonight, nearly evened it up on this sequence.
Yeah, it was a great possession. Ball pinballing around, cleared out. And Brown got it to the foot he wanted to go to, but it just sailed on him.
I think that was Torres there who had a shot blocked, but then made the nice pass to Brown.
I'm just really impressed that we're in the 40th minute right now, and the pace of this game is very fast, very frantic. Both teams trying to control the ball. And I think in this game right now, the ball may be more difficult to control than the other team.
Oh, a giveaway here in the back third. And Brown couldn't get a shot off. Good recovery. Still trying to fight for it. He'll be whistled for a foul here. Very physical inside the 18. Brown didn't want to give up there.
Yeah, I don't think Brown wants to get up right now. I think he's enjoying getting a little rest.
Earned a couple seconds to gather himself.
Yeah, both of them just trying to go for the ball, and I think Brian Brown was just like, I'm going to take the opportunity to, you know, milk 15, 30 seconds, catch my breath. I've been running down on this side of the pitch for the last 41 minutes.
Well, you noted a few minutes ago, it didn't seem like we had said his name too often tonight. Now, towards the end of the half, really starting to certainly assert himself in this match. Brown has 38 goals, 22 assists, and 109 appearances in the championship. Averaging a goal every other game over the course of his career.
It's not a bad way to do it.
No. Tulsa pushing it forward again. This will be easily handled by Kuzmitsky.
I like what Tulsa is doing right now. Their possessions are clean. They're keeping the ball on the ground. They're going station to station. They're getting opportunities. That's all you can ask for right now, because I think Tulsa is playing their way into this game. They know when they come out of the locker room in the second half, the win will be at their back. They're already having good luck with possessions. They may not equalize it, but I think Tulsa must like their chances the way they're playing right now and only being down by one.
Yeah, despite the score line here, I would think Tulsa has every reason to feel confident heading into the final 45 with what they can put together here in this match. As Archer plays it in. The far side, it's bounced in. Partner, how has Tulsa gathered their composure here in the last 20 minutes in your mind? Looked a little wandering in the first 20.
Yeah, I think they just settled down after giving up that goal. You know, that goal was in the 10th minute. I think right now they've played themselves in. They're getting a little bit more patient. I think the big thing is they decided after giving up that goal that they were going to start to try to maneuver.
Wide right.
They were going to try to maneuver the ball and go from left to right by keeping the ball on the ground. And I think that has really made a difference. When they were trying to go over the top, the ball was getting hung up. They were losing their momentum. They're going vertical right now. And the forwards, Brown is more involved in this game. Rivas has been more involved in this game. So I think if you're Tulsa, you're happy the way this game is progressing.
FC Tulsa's had some success in their season openers in recent memory. Have not lost their first match since the 2018 season. Last year it was a 3-1 victory over Oklahoma City Energy FC. Final few minutes here of the first half in the Low Country.
Yeah, I think Moloto, that was just a little frustration foul right there.
This should be a fun second half. I very much looking forward to seeing the adjustments Tulsa will make and what they can do with the wind at their back. But as you said, Bruce, this has been an impressive pace of soccer for being a first game. And
being first game, the temperatures, the conditions, everything else. I'm curious if either of these teams is going to be able to keep up this type of pace for 90 minutes.
Right. Lewis has been busy here in the first half. Sends off another goal kick. Moloto playing it forward. Looking to try to play it to his man with speed. Brown keeps possession. Moloto coming. And he'll stay with FC Tulsa.
If Tulsa can find a way to find an equalizer before they go into the dressing room, that would be an enormous lift.
It'll be 1 minute of stoppage time here at Patriots Point. Time's brought to you by MUSC Health Sports Medicine.
By MUSC Health Sports Medicine. Don't let an injury hurt your game. Go to MUSCHealth.org.
Tulsa would love to sneak one in before they head to the locker rooms, but nevertheless, exciting final 45 is in store. Not a bad effort there before Kuzminski came out to retrieve it. He might help milk this into the final couple seconds here of the half. As Torres played it in. Tulsa get one more shot. Oh, play it back towards midfield. That might do it for the first half.
Encarnacion was going to let them play if they were going to the right, but the second they went to the left, he said that will do it for the half.
We're through 45 minutes at Patriots Point in the 2022 USL season opener. Back and forth affair. This one has been fun tonight in Charleston. 45 minutes still left to play. It's Charleston Battery 1, FC Tulsa 0. First half highlights and more coming up after the break. You're watching the USL on ESPN Plus from Patriots Point. A fun first 45. What else do we have in store? Stay with us. We'll be right back after this.
Hey Google, turn up the heat.
Very superstitious. Writings on the wall. When you believe in this, but you don't understand that they're good. Superstition ain't the way.
My dad was a Cuban refugee, and school wasn't really an option for him. He'd always encourage me and my sisters. He'd say, try different things, you know? If you want to be an artist, if you want to be a painter or musician, go for it. Because I received a South Carolina education lottery scholarship, I didn't have to worry about the bulk of my tuition. And that's priceless.
This is your vacation, your beach, your fields of green, skies of blue, mountains of majesty. You're an athlete, you're obsessed, you're in love, you're in pain, spirit drained, in agony, fighting gravity, because you made a commitment to yourself and others to work on your game, build your frame in blazing heat, exhausted and beat. You're not alone. You're supported, pushed, tested, tried, trued, broken, fixed, and put back on track to do it all again. Your road is long, on open highway, completely secluded, jammed with traffic, horns blaring, sirens screaming, speed limit, near misses, head-on collisions, body shops, rest stops, so many tolls to pay. Your destination isn't the place, it's a record, a dance, a feeling. Hands in the air, stands on their feet, joy all around. Because when you refuse to yield, your spirit is revealed. You are an athlete. MUSC Health, Sports Medicine.
As we begin a new season, let's look back at the moments and teams that defined the 2021 USL campaign. Coach of the Year, Near Collins, and how could he not be after the season that the Tampa Bay Rowdies put together last year, leading the league with 71 points. Tampa Bay looking to get back to the postseason and finish the job this year after a frustrating 3-1 finish in the USL Championship, but no doubt that Coach Collins has his team in prime position. A big reason why was the play of Evan Loro as well. A shutout was not an unfamiliar sight when Evan Loro was in goal, the 2021 goalkeeper of the year, well-deserved down in Tampa Bay. Meanwhile, on the opposite spectrum, Haji Berry, a goal scorer, 25 of them over the course of the 2021 season, the MVP and Golden Boots Award winner for Colorado Springs Switchbacks will look to have another terrific campaign moving forward. Team-wise, El Paso Locomotive FC finished first in the Mountain Division, 18-4-10, good for 64 points, 12 points ahead of San Antonio FC. Oakland Roots held them scoreless to end their season, a shocking result. Motivation is high as they begin their next season. Phoenix Rising FC, the champions of the Pacific Division, 25-7, 15 points ahead of the eventual champions, Orange County SC, eliminated on penalties in the postseason. They had 5 goals in their final preseason match. We'll see how they start this year. Louisville City FC, they won the Central, 18 wins, 7 losses, 7 draws over the course of the 2021 campaign. Cameron Lancaster's 21 goals paced the club. A 3-2 loss to Tampa Bay Rowdies ended their season. Tampa Bay, first in the Atlantic, 23 wins last year, 71 points, a mile ahead of anybody else in the East. Went to the championship match where they fell 3-1 to Orange County SC. The USL champions of the 2021 season took down Colorado Springs, Oakland Roots, and San Antonio FC in penalties, and then on the road against Tampa Bay Rowdies in the title game. It all came together for that 3-1 victory, all 3 goals coming in the first half. That's a look at the 2021 season. We're back with more after this on ESPN+.
Birmingham, and all the goal scorers getting in on the action today. Legion FC, how about that?
Sebastian Doggart from distance, and he drills it! Wow! What a goal!
Topics. I mean, yeah, let's talk about today's the day where I'm gonna go topics.
Roll it down.
I am.
You don't need a car to listen to Sirius XM. You can listen anywhere. You know that, right?
What? Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio.
Kevin, you could use your phone.
What? What?
Alexa, play Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio on Sirius XM.
What? This is how I know you're getting old. I guess that was it. What?
Birmingham. And all the goal scorers getting in on the action today. Legion FC, how about that?
Sebastian Doggart from distance, and he drills it! Wow! What a goal!
Welcome back to Charleston, South Carolina. After 45 minutes of play, it's the Battery with a 1-0 lead. 15 combined shots between the two teams. We are looking forward to a fun second half here in the Low Country. Let's take a look at some USL news and notes around the league. We've got a 34-game regular season coming up. We talked a little bit earlier about the new teams making their debut in the USL. Detroit City FC, Monterey Bay FC. The USL keeps growing and expanding, and it's great to see.
Absolutely, and I talked earlier about Detroit City and the fans. I'm a proud owner.
That's right, a little investment in Detroit City, a fan of the organization. Really looking forward to that Birmingham and Tampa Bay Rowdies game, open up Protective Stadium up in Alabama. We talked a little bit in the open, that new postseason format, aiming to be a top 7 team in the East and West rather than top 4 in the number of divisions that there were last year. Should be fun, rewarding a lot of quality built up over the course of the regular season. Of course, the #1 seed earns that bye already onto the conference semifinals. The journey starts tonight. A long one over the course of the summer and fall. Really looking forward to seeing what this 2022 campaign puts together. Let's take a look at what's coming up with the USL on ESPN. We referenced tomorrow night's game with Birmingham Legion and Tampa Bay Rowdies. That'll be on ESPN2. Detroit City will get a crack at Birmingham Legion mid-April on ESPN Deportes. Elsewhere, March 19th, El Paso Locomotive and New Mexico United on Deportes. April 3rd, San Diego Loyal SC and El Paso Locomotive on ESPN Deportes as well. Part of our national schedule of the USL on ESPN moving forward. 1-0, our score of the half. Charleston Battery at home on top through 45. We'll be back after this. It's the USL on ESPN+.
You need more layers, diagonal layers.
I got it, Ron. Thanks.
Leave him alone, Dad. Oh, honey, you should use ice blocks instead of cubes.
No, Bud Light Seltzer goes on top.
Diagonal layers.
Did you feature the Bud Light lemonades?
Need more ice.
And diagonal layers.
I mean, if you're going to do it right.
I don't need my hands getting cold.
Why don't you try using the Plumsky method?
Brings out the citrus notes.
Dad?
Gotta crush the ice, son.
Okay, I'm out.
What's his problem?
Whenever packing the cooler really, really matters, there's a Bud Light there.
Hey Google, turn up the heat.
This is your vacation, your beach, your fields of green, skies of blue, mountains of majesty. You're an athlete, you're obsessed, you're in love, you're in pain, spirit drained, in agony, fighting gravity, because you made a commitment to yourself and others to work on your game, build your frame in blazing heat, exhausted and beat. You're not alone, you're supported, pushed, tested, tried, true, broken, fixed, and put back on track to do it all again. Your road is long, an open highway completely secluded, jammed with traffic, horns blaring, sirens screaming, speed limit, near misses, head-on collisions, body shops, rest stops, so many tolls to pay. Your destination isn't a place, it's a record, a dance, a feeling. Hands in the air, stands on their feet, joy all around. Because when you refuse to yield, your spirit is revealed. You are an athlete. MUSC Health, Sports Medicine.
Tonight's Charleston Battery broadcast is presented by Volvo and also by MUSC Health Sports Medicine. All right, taking a look at the moments of the first half. Matt Sheldon, in the 7th minute. In the FC Tulsa had an early opportunity from Suarez, put it up pretty close to goal.
Suarez picking up the loose ball, taking his time, tees it up, just sailed over the bar. Excellent strike. He should have more looks at goal in the second.
Then in the 10th minute, the first strike of the game off that misplay at midfield, and Charleston took advantage of it. The first goal of the season for the Battery. Augustine Williams put it in.
Yeah, he was fantastic, patient on it, saw which way the keeper was going to go. Once he made his commitment, kept it on the ground, made sure that he went to the post, and made it a 1-0 game.
Tulsa almost responded right away. FC Tulsa actually had the advantage in shots taken 10-5. Just weren't able to put many on frame.
Yeah, it was hard. You see the ball sailing over the bar once again.
The Battery had another opportunity. That header was off the mark. Charleston has control. We just mentioned the shots taken. Also possession. About 60% to 40 in favor of FC Tulsa. Had a yellow card there. This was the breakaway. Apodaca had a pair of nice passes, including this one. Andrew Booth, the FIU product, was nearly able to finish. That one was just wide. It was nearly a 2-0 advantage for Charleston as it stood 1-0 at the half. Let's take a look at team stats brought to you by Heineken. You see the possession numbers there. Plenty of yellow cards as well. 3 of them for Charleston. Anything stand out here for you, partner?
Yeah, the only stat that ever really matters is the one up top, and that's Charleston 1-0 after 45 plus 1.
No doubt about it, but FC Tulsa would not be surprised to see what Michael Encian's club can do here in the second half. It was very formidable there in the first 45, just unable to find that one shot they could put on target. What adjustments or changes, what do you expect to see here out of FC Tulsa here in the second half? Now with the win, they're back as well.
I think FC Tulsa just needs to play the way they did in the last 15, 20 minutes of the first half. Keep the ball on the ground, move it along, try to take as many shots on frame as possible. For Charleston, they're going to have to get used to going the other way. If they play the same way they did in the first half, you may see this game equalize early, and then it will be a true prize fight.
One substitution here heading into the second half. DZ Harmon will enter, returning to Charleston for his second season with the black and yellow. He is in for Romario Pickett, who picked up the yellow in that first half. That substitution brought to you by Home Team Barbecue. Underway here in the second half. That's the only sub coming out of the locker room. Free kick played into the box. So Lewis coming out. Booth got a touch to it.
This Battery substitution is brought to you by Home Team Barbecue.
Charleston still in an attacking area here. Well done by Sheldon. He goes far posts. It's a little too strong though.
Yeah, Charleston is going to have to take a page out of Tulsa's book in what worked for them for those last 15, 20 minutes. They got to keep the ball on the ground. They can't lift it up. For Tulsa, wind at their back, they can do basically anything they want.
Fans, that Battery substitution was brought to you by Home Team Barbecue. You can grab their world-famous barbecue today with locations downtown.
Sheldon, a very talented right back. You saw him playing up forward a few moments ago. Great with his right foot in service. Tulsa trying to find some room. Plenty of space on the near side.
But you just look at how high Charleston is playing, making it very, very difficult for them, being Tulsa, to break out of the back.
So Suarez was calling for it, but hard to get him the ball from where Tulsa was on that opposite side. But maybe a chance here. Oh, Brown And there's a whistle.
Right idea, just the execution wasn't quite there. For a team that created as many chances that they did in the first half, Tulsa should actually create more chances in the second.
You would think so, right? Yeah.
Ball moving around when nobody's near it.
See if they play through the air more as well. And try to get Brown involved a little bit earlier in this half. Start to find his rhythm there in the final 15 minutes. Suarez had some early opportunities. 2 good shots.
And we really haven't seen DaCosta create opportunities or even be fed the ball.
Here's Suarez. Pushing it forward now. Tulsa switches sides, perhaps a chance here. Here's the pass laid off, and it led to a defender. Tulsa retains possession though. They put a shot on target. This will not be the possession which they do it. For all the shots they took, none of them were on goal. Be corner kick here.
Well, Tulsa trying to create opportunities once again. We started the match 48 degrees. We're now down to 43, and it feels like 36 with the wind chill. And you see how those flags are going. There's a game being played in New England right now in the snow.
Here's a long attempt. Oh, wide to the left. Another shot, but score column remains at 0. As Torres gave it a look.
Weekend warrior, amateur or pro, no matter what sport you play, trust the MUSC Health Sports Medicine team.
Yeah, the winds right now coming out of the west-northwest, 15 miles an hour. And it is certainly sustained.
Yeah, that'll bring that feels like temperature down. No doubt about it.
Surgery and rehabilitation for athletes of all ages and skill levels. For more information, go to muschealth.org/sports.
Charleston passing out on play. These are the matches you really want to be in that starting 11.
Yeah, you don't want to be on the bench right now.
Not just for competitive sakes, but just to feel a little warmer.
If you're on the bench right now, you're hoping that your club has bought some really heavy jackets.
They've got some space heaters down to the sideline. It's 1-0 Charleston here, approaching the 51st minute. Glad to have you with us on ESPN Plus. Signed Bruce Silverman. AJ Ricketts here with you in the opening match of the 2022 season. Across the board, Orange County SC, the champions last year over Tampa Bay Rowdies. What stories will be written this year across the league? Charleston has been a regular in the playoffs over the course of their organization, a rare early off season for the Charleston Battery this past year. So a new head coaching staff, Michael Anhauser out, former U.S. international Connor Casey assuming the head coaching role. FC Tulsa trying to advance deeper in the playoffs under Michael Encian. Here's Torres advancing the ball. Centers it. Charleston will clear it away.
Very similar start to the second half that we saw in the first half. Both teams trying to figure out how to play in this wind.
Vidaka wanted a foul, went to the ground. Had a one-on-one opportunity.
I still remain curious as to how long this pace can keep up, because now we're 6-7 minutes into the second half and they're running as hard as they did in the first half.
Well, you know, Connor Casey will say he wants it through 90. That is his standard, but easier said than executed, perhaps.
It's not the wind chill at 36, and you're in your opening game. And
well, the difference here, he's not. You know, we talked about those 30-minute segments he emphasized in the preseason. It's a 90-minute segment.
it's a little different than playing 11 and then switching the 11 30 minutes later.
heavy touch was going to sail out of play, but then Torres committed a blatant foul and will be issued the 5th yellow card of the evening, and the 2nd for FC Tulsa, as Andrew Booth went to the ground. There's no need for that there.
No, this was a reckless challenge.
Perhaps Torres thought that there's somebody there to help advance that after the pass rather than a ball that was just mishit and was going to sail out of play. I don't know.
There was no attempt at the ball, and I'm not even sure that Torres was even looking at the ball when he made contact with Booth.
An easy decision there for Joshua Encarnacion. So DZ Harmon, who subbed in just after the half, will queued up. Going far post, got a head on it. Brett St. Martin, cornerback, couldn't direct it to goal.
It's one of the best set pieces we've seen on the evening. He just went to direct it and directed it a little too wide.
It was onside. Was the only one to go up to get it. Perhaps could have done more with that. Brett St. Martin, his first season with Charleston. He was selected 50th overall in the 2022 MLS Super Draft by Sporting Kansas City. Did have a goal in the friendly against Coastal Carolina at the end of February. In a friendly against the Chanticleers out of Conway. Their perennial NCAA tournament team. Charleston's going to keep playing here, man, for FC Tulsa on the ground. Now the whistle will blow.
And Encarnacion is calling for the medical staff for Dario Suarez.
Fans aren't thrilled. Suarez was lying motionless for a moment.
We see this challenge. Just got in front, kind of clipped his hand out.
That right arm, hand got to his contact with Suarez's
and
head.
Sheldon needs to be really careful on challenges like that. He's sitting on a yellow card that he picked up in the 30th.
Yeah.
Doesn't want to put his team down a man when they're up a goal. And you see Casey right now having that conversation with Williams.
Certainly didn't look anything intentional in that sequence from Sheldon. Want to pick up 2 yellows in the first match of the season.
When pretty much everything is going your way, you don't want to give your opponent an opportunity to claw their way back in.
More contact here. And there's going to be another yellow. And that's going to be the second on DaCosta. Wow, what a development right now. DaCosta is done.
So the guy that we highlight as the target man for Tulsa in the open is out of this match in the 56th minute. This changes the complexion completely because Tulsa now down a man and down a goal, and they're going to have to play the remainder of this match under that scenario. Ball is high in the air.
A red card and match ejection has been issued to FC Tulsa's number 10, Rodrigo DaCosta.
It looked worse.
10 players for the remainder of the match.
It looked worse in real time than it did on the replay.
Well, yeah, that left foot initially came up. He brought it back down, and that's where the contact came. Yeah, you're right. In real time, that looked worse. Still clipped the defender's shin, no doubt about it. But you combine that with where the foot was.
I think a lot of it had to do with the leg being up like a rocket.
Yeah, yeah. It's not on Broadway right now. It's not the situation for that high leg. Cost him. Wow, so one of the most decorated players in FC Tulsa history is out. Tulsa will have to try to even it up, a man down. bouncing around here in a dangerous spot. See, Tulsa must clear. So the thing going for him is the win, but the task will be much more difficult. We're seeing all sorts of slide tackles, collisions, and cards here in this half. And another one will be issued. That one, Rodriguez. In his first year with FC Tulsa.
So the game getting really, really chippy at this point. Reckless challenge right there. And you start to think, okay, Encian is going to have to really look at this, and he's got DaCosta that's out. So how does he reconfigure his lineup a little bit? He started with a 3-5-2. Now you've got your left fullback sitting with a yellow card. You've got your right winger with a yellow card.
Torres, yeah.
And you're down a goal.
The shot is too much pace on it.
Just nowhere near the intended target for Harmon.
His first shot of the season.
58-minute was issued to FC Tulsa's number 4, Ronald Rodriguez. Yellow card sponsored by Spinks.
Not the start that the visitors wanted for the season.
I think it's a tough break for DaCosta. I don't think there's anything malicious, Bruce. You tell me with that sequence, but if you bring that foot up, you're almost just asking for bad things to happen, particularly if you're already sitting on that yellow.
Yeah, when your leg goes up that high, you're gonna really draw the attention of the referee. And in real time, like we talked about, it looked worse than it did. Understand that it was definitely card worthy. It's just unfortunate for Tulsa that DaCosta had a yellow card in the 24th minute.
Right.
So he's in the shower.
This is pushed towards Kuzminski. And he'll pick it up. 1-0 Charleston here in the 60th minute. But the man tied for the leading goal scoring mark in FC Tulsa history, the leading assist man in the history of the organization. He is out here on the opening nights of the 2022 USL season.
So for Tulsa, they got to find ways to get the ball to Dario Suarez.
Right.
And Suarez just needs every opportunity that he gets. He has to put it on frame.
Joaquin Rivas as well. We haven't talked too much about him this evening.
And Brown had a moment in the first half. We just haven't seen anything in the second.
Rivas was talking before the match tonight about the importance of these early season games. He said, look, we know how clutch these games can be. These points right now, they matter. He said at the end of the day, you look back at last season's schedule, we won the first 3 matches. we ended up really needing those points come the end of the season to get into the playoffs as Suarez is offside. All right, let's take a look at these 2 yellows. There's the first. Just a blatant handball whistled after he went down. And then here's the all-important one. Yeah, the contact right there.
Yeah, when you slow it down, we have the advantage of slowing it down and seeing it, the referee seeing it in real time. And we talked about it in real time. That looked a lot worse than ultimately it probably really was. Nonetheless, Mr. Encarnacion is carrying the cards. He's got the whistle and the barbasol. And he has to keep track of play, and this match is getting pretty chippy. So under those circumstances, Encarnacion really needs to keep everything in check before this game gets out of control.
There were 4 cards issued in the first half, but the physicality is still taking a level up here in half number 2. Here's our second substitution of the match.
Coming out, number 9,
FC Tulsa, J.J. Williams.
And in number 7, J.J. Williams
will come in for Brian Brown.
We talked a moment ago about Brown and how he had a moment in the first half and we hadn't seen it, and seeing had seen enough of Brown, so he brings in Williams. He's got a little fresh legs.
Maloto's service was too low. Charleston is getting set to make some placements of their own.
Those will be the second and the third substitutions.
And with that dead ball, looks like we'll see those pair of battery players enter. Emmanuel E.J. Johnson and Mario Sacchero will enter tonight's proceedings. As Apodaca and Shaq Adams head to the bench. Here in the 64th minute.
Substitution for the Charleston
Fresh legs for
Battery.
both sides, trying to keep that pace of play going here that
Apodaca, and
we've seen all throughout the
Shaq
evening.
Adams. Coming in, number 22, E.J. Johnson.
I don't get the sense, or at least I have a partner, that these teams are carrying a lot of rust into the first match. There's physicality. They're battling what the elements are here tonight. We saw great class on the first goal from Augustine Williams, and that back line has been formidable for Charleston to help keep shots off goal and deflected out of play. But it doesn't seem there's like a lack of technical skill or rest here in the early proceedings.
Well, it's a combination of a few things. You had a number of solid tune-ups during the preseason, and these teams work hard during the preseason to get themselves in at least mid-season form. You come in, you got a clear game plan from your manager. You try to execute it. The wind's been a factor. We saw Tulsa adjusting as the first half went on to deal with the wind. I don't think we've seen Charleston make the adjustments yet. In terms of the win, good news for them. They are up by a goal and they're up by a man.
E.J. Johnson entered the game and made about a 60-yard run immediately across the field before running out of steam. This will be picked up once more. Charleston 1, FC Tulsa 0 here on the opening weekend of USL play. It's an early season clash out west when El Paso Locomotive FC welcomes New Mexico United. Don't miss out as the next chapter. The USL Championship Soccer continues Saturday, March 19th at 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Deportes.
All right, AJ, did you happen to catch Bob Odenkirk on Howard Stern wearing the New Mexico United hat?
I missed that, partner. I did not see that. How about that?
I took notice of that the other day, watching that clip. Odenkirk, obviously, Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. Where does that take place? New Mexico.
I never got past the first season, but I'll get there. I'll get there. Andrew Booth is down at the moment, being attended to.
Both fantastic series. Again, both of them taking place in New Mexico. I just thought it was really great that, here's an actor taking on a show in New Mexico and wearing the hat.
Yeah, taking pride in it.
And there it is, just Booth kick from behind.
Unpleasant feeling in the cold. It's taking a moment.
Yeah, that's one of those situations where you say that will leave a mark.
Booth, though, as tough as they come, walk it off.
What I have been surprised about is how physical this game has been.
Sure.
And when you go up against physical teams, you can either match the physicality or you can back off of it. And both of these teams have basically puffed out their chests and said, we can take whatever you can dish out. Right now, Tulsa, I don't think Tulsa's really playing looking like they're playing a man down.
No. They have not backed down. But the fact remains, when your best players, top goal scorers in club history, goes to the sidelines, that win probability will go down.
Well, it's an issue in this game on the road to open up the season in Charleston, and it's going to be an issue in the next game because he's not going to be available. Not the type of start that Tulsa was looking for.
Again, we mentioned FC Tulsa has not dropped a season opener since 2018. Good pass here on the near side, crossed through the middle, nobody there to receive, but a throw in for Tulsa.
Tulsa seems to be settling down a little bit, not only dealing with the wind, but also dealing a man down.
Wanted a whistle there right around the edge of the box. None was given. And now this is being played forward. Williams already has one today. Tulsa did well to sprint back. A lot of white jerseys, and Charleston will look to push it around.
Williams was so far ahead that when he wanted to pass, there was nobody to pass to. He had to pull up the brakes. Charleston will work on that during the course of the season. They're going to get used to his speed. They're going to get used to trailing with him and giving him opportunities.
Booth again finding himself on the ground. He may exit this game here in a moment. Looks like Joe Schmidt is making his way towards midfield. Andrew Booth in his first season with Charleston, the 24-year-old, after a 2-year stint with Greenville Triumph.
Taking the shot. Schmidt is in. I think that's more of a precaution than anything else. First game of the season, there's no reason with 5 substitutions to make Booth continue to take a beating. Williams can't control that one.
So in his place, Joe Schmidt, his first season with Charleston, after a standout career with the Indiana Hoosiers, who of course are a formidable presence at the NCAA level. Always making their way deep into the NCAA tournament. Foul there on Suarez. Be free kick here for Charleston.
He was just trying to get the angle to get to the ball. It just wasn't available.
'70th minute here in Charleston, fans. Don't miss a minute of the action in 2022. Whether your club is on the road or at home, catch nearly every second of USL Championship action on ESPN+, the home to the USL, MLS, La Liga, the Bundesliga, UFC, and more. Sign up today at ESPN.com. Again, FC Tulsa playing with 10 men after the red card of Rodrigo da Costa. The Charleston goal coming in the 10th minute tonight off the boot of Augustine Williams, assisted by Apodaca, who has since exited the game. He had 2 brilliant passes that nearly led to a pair of goals. And Tulsa down a man. It's found themselves in the attacking third quite a bit in the last few minutes. Maloto plays it back.
If the CG wasn't on the screen, you would be really hard-pressed to believe that they're not playing at equal strength.
It hasn't been obvious.
No, it really hasn't. And credit to Tulsa to be able to adjust like that. I think the reason they've been able to do it is having the wind at their back.
Right.
If they were going into the wind, I think this would be a very, very difficult mountain to climb.
Be a deflated team, perhaps. A whistle, then the second bump elicited the foul. That'll be on Adrian Dispay instead of a free kick.
Yeah, just not a lot to that, but he was just trying to come back to the ball. And
E.J. Johnson's been very active since entering this match. The initial 60-yard sprint we talked about, and he's been fighting a number of defenders in that left back spot as well, drawing the foul. So an opportunity here for Charleston, who did well in their last set piece. St. Martin got ahead to it.
Wind has died down just a little bit.
Low. Charleston wants a handball. And the fans wanted a foul after. This will be a corner kick for the Battery.
I like that choice on this set piece to go low. Ball high is just too much of a liability. The ball is low.
Let's hear you, fans. Make some noise. It's a corner kick coming up for your Charleston Battery.
Charleston immediately pleading their case.
Yeah, that was extremely close. Argument can certainly be made.
Sachero to take with the left foot from the corner. Not a bad set piece there, but no black and yellow jersey to receive. He'll play it in once more. Charleston got ahead to it, and I'll tell you what, Lewis was going to be safe there. It wasn't that far off target from Leland Archer.
And I think Archer on this one, and we've seen this a couple of times on headers whipped in, trying to direct it too much, trying to be just a little bit too cute. In this wind, just settle it down, put it on frame. Make it, with the wind wreaking havoc with the ball, let that be a challenge for the keeper. If you don't challenge the keeper,
right,
there's no chance to score.
Sachero's done well since entering for Charleston with the service. He had that free kick and then played it in again. And Archer nearly able to do something with it. Now another substitution here for FC Tulsa. It's Machuca. Ramirez coming in.
Substitution for FC
Gabby
Tulsa
Torres to the bench.
Coming out, number 16, Gabby Torres. Coming in, number 23, Machuca Ramirez.
And there's a substitution. Torres sitting on a yellow card. You can't afford for him to pick up a second.
No, you don't want to be without Torres and DaCosta heading into next week's match.
You don't want to finish the game with 9 men either.
Well, that too, no doubt. 75th minute here at Patriots Point. Season opener for both of these clubs. First time they've ever met in the history of these two organizations. Kind of hard to believe. Tulsa came in 14th in the USL Power Rankings to start the season. Charleston 20th. A slide tackle there, and another yellow here coming. This one on Suarez. The yellows are piling up for FC Tulsa as St. Martin is on the ground.
All kinds of laundry to be done by Tulsa. Suarez just threw his leg out there, but he was so far behind the play, there's no way he was going to be able to make a play on the ball.
Yellow card in the 75th minute to FC Tulsa's number 92, Dario Suarez.
I'll tell you what, though, Bruce, if you're Michael Ensign, I think you have to admire the spirit of your club. I know the yellows are piling up, and you don't want to see too much of that and put your team in a tough situation moving forward. But you're down 1-0. You're playing with 10 men. You have one of your forwards hustling back up behind midfield, trying to make a tackle. I think there's been some positive things here, despite the score for FC Tulsa.
There's absolutely no doubt. And if the result holds up, let's say it's 1-0.
Charleston get another.
Win.
This will be too high.
If Tulsa ends up going on the plane and heading home down, losing 1-0, with the fact if they continue to play at this pace and they don't back down at all for the next 15 minutes,
bodes well.
I don't think that obviously you're leaving without any points, but I don't think it's a game that they can really hang their head and say, we weren't trying, we weren't in it, we didn't have opportunities.
Right.
They've created them, they've scratched and clawed. Sometimes you learn more from losses than wins. And tonight, I think we're seeing, regardless of what happens with Tulsa during this season, they're going to fight for 90 minutes. And any opponent that takes them on is going to have to know you're in for a dogfight for an entire match.
Fans, it's time to vote for the Heineken Man of the Match. Download the Charleston Battery app or go to Twitter to cast your vote for the Heineken Man of the Match. Johnson again causing all sorts of problems in that corner. It looks like Encarnacion was about to reach to his pocket again. Both men are back on their feet.
Sometimes sportsmanship can save you. These two guys were just going at it, and you can tell there was nothing for nefarious going on. They were just
for the ball.
No, they both kind of stopped and were trying to stay on their feet, and arms get involved. And
I sided with the official on that assessment. No need for a card there. Momentum carrying them away from the ball.
Yellow card brought
Stick each other to the ground, model.
I think the way that this game has been going, and as chippy as it's been, I think Encarnacion first thought was, I got to get in there and make sure that these two guys don't go at each other. And once he saw that they were helping each other, I think it was no harm, no foul.
Well played in the back third.
Well, it was no harm with foul, but
technically, yes. One of the less egregious fouls here today. 79th minute. Again, FC Tulsa with 10 men. Can this be poked forward here? A sprint from Suarez. He was taken down. Now a yellow will be issued to Archer. That was great touch from Suarez. He was taking on 3 defenders. You're seeing the fight continue here from FC Tulsa.
They're trying to create opportunities at every turn.
I mean, Suarez was the one just given the yellow for the slide tackle himself.
Yellow card
near the right back spot.
4th card handed out for Charleston on the evening. Tulsa's got 5.
Brought to you by Sphinx.
So with 9 cards through 79 minutes, maybe it's not a surprise that we had somebody shown off. Maybe it's a surprise we haven't seen more than one person.
I think Suarez was hoping that'd be more than a yellow. He felt he was perhaps a goal-scoring scenario. You know who loves these yellow cards is Spinks Convenience Stores, the official sponsor of the stadium for the yellow cards this evening.
Sponsor getting their money's worth this evening.
I don't know. I don't think they're still reading them. The PA announcer. I didn't hear it last time. 80th minute here. Set piece. The wall got to it. They'll reset. This one got a little further. Kuzminski had to be solid. Right by the sand.
Yeah, you got to like rebounds. I've been saying it for years. I'd love to see rebounds as a stat in soccer because he gets it right back. He takes the shot. Kuzminski was just waiting on it, but, you know, great opportunity. And once again, Tulsa just continues to try to scratch and claw, find any way they can to get the equalizer.
That was Ronald Rodriguez, again, who was brought in to FC Tulsa to help shore up that back line, which conceded nearly 60 goals last season. That time he nearly helped the case with an offensive tally of his own. And that was actually the first shot on target for Tulsa tonight, despite all the attempts. Here's Sheldon. Nice move to be able to send it in. Well done. And Tulsa had to be sharp defensively there to make sure nothing else happened. Matt Sheldon can really put the ball in dangerous areas.
Now, I think that Charleston is going to really like having Sheldon on this club.
No doubt.
He's anchored that right side. He's played solid. He's picked up a card.
Charleston trying to maintain possession for a little bit here as the final moments and minutes start to approach. Johnson couldn't get it. And Tulsa will throw it in once more.
With every trip that Tulsa can muster down this pitch, they're giving themselves opportunities to win, or at least to pick up a point.
It's a similar kind of vibe that FC Tulsa saw in their final preseason match against Sporting Kansas City 2. Winds up to 35 miles per hour. Tulsa picked up a 1-0 win in that match. Probably getting quite tired of these conditions. This is centered and cleared. Does Charleston have something on a counter here? As Tulsa brought a lot of men. Look at the numbers here, 4-on-2. It's played forward. But that momentary hesitation allowed Tulsa to get back, and then Johnson will just bring his man to the ground. And it's an easy foul. Well, Tulsa had numbers, but things got kind of bunched up with that pass out to Johnson on the outside.
For Tulsa, one of the things they have to do is they just need to just step in front of the ball. They just need to shut some things down. Both of these teams need to take shots faster. They're having opportunities. They're just waiting too long. They're trying to be too perfect. And sometimes that is just a recipe for disaster. You got to continue to move, play the ball at the feet, move, especially in an opportunity like Charleston just had, where they had the numbers and they just weren't able to execute.
Yeah, that sequence perhaps a great counter to my earlier observation of the lack of rust. Eventually it was going to be exposed. How little I know, partner.
No. 83rd minute, and in both of these teams have been
it's
running.
been great. It's been well done. It's been a well-played match.
You know, if you were sitting with both of these training staffs right now and you could look to see how many miles these guys have logged, I think you would be really, really surprised at the high number that they're seeing right now, especially for the first game of the season.
I'd love to see the numbers with E.J. Johnson since entering the game in the second half. Perhaps fatigue, a reason why he was unable to put that final sequence together.
And what was interesting is he almost outran the ball.
Right. Yeah, it looked like Charleston had numerous options on a 4-on-2 counter. We give Tulsa credit for retreating back quickly and stepping in front. Will this be another example? Well played. Here's Johnson. Right to the ground, and then it's a whistle. And another yellow. This one on Dispay.
That's number 10 on the evening in the 85th.
Well, I'd be interested to see, after we take a look at the final numbers of all the matches across the league, how many other matches have 10 yellows or reds combined.
Tulsa's number 15, Adrian Dispay.
So Dispay just slowing them down.
Brought to you by Spinks.
Didn't necessarily need to either. His momentum had stopped.
No, and especially in the middle of the pitch like that, you're just giving up a card. Might not mean much in this match, but, you know, check in about 15, 20 games.
Right.
And that card, which is right now a throwaway.
You have the yellows like Suarez's, you know, an attacking player who's hustling to get back to stop
which he
advantage.
earned.
Yeah. There's those yellows, which I think Michael Encian to be a little more willing to accept than the one you just saw. Time starting to tick away for FC Tulsa's hopes to even this up, playing with 10 men. You're seeing the frustration starting to mount for the club, who has played hard, has played with ambition, a great spirit about them. With Charleston at home at Patriots Point, the lone team to score today. Another sub for FC Tulsa. Johnny Finnick will head to the bench. Kimbo Kebato, who was recently re-signed by FC Tulsa, he will enter.
For FC Tulsa. Now out, number 5, Johnny Fenwick. And in, number 21, Kimbo Kebato.
Kebato was acquired last season on loan from Rio Grande Valley FC last April. Made quite the impression, was the FC Tulsa Newcomer of the Year at the conclusion of the 2021 campaign. And some international experience as well in Denmark. Go out of play. FC Tulsa, about 3 minutes plus to go. We'll see how much stoppage time is added. They get another opportunity or two in the waning moments. We've seen them bringing numbers forward, nearly leading to a pair of Charleston counters in the last 5 or 10 minutes. Well, this got through to the near post. Shot on goal, and tell you what, Kuzminski had to do well there. That looks like it was on a beeline to the upper 90.
Yeah, that was a tough shot to handle and a tough shot to get off. I think if he plays the ball to his right foot and he goes to the far post, might be a different story.
There's Rivas, who's scored plenty of times from that kind of spot and that kind of shot. He had FC Tulsa's first goal of the season last year against OKC. Here comes Charleston once more. Can they put it away here? Not too heavy a touch. Tulsa was in the right spot. Now in the 89th minute, pushed forward. A sprint to it's going to stay in play. Out for a throw-in as Ramirez was chasing it down and quickly initiates. A fun final few minutes it appears to be. But a poor service in.
Been really impressed by the pace of play through 90 minutes.
It never felt like it really slowed down that much. You were alluding to that possibility.
They have gone end to end in very cold, windy conditions. You know, if you said to soccer players at this level, it's going to be 48 degrees at kickoff, they'd say ideal situation to play. Then when you throw in the wind, not so ideal.
Right. Tulsa tried to get over the top there. Just not enough pace. 90th minute. Patriots point.
I have not spoken to many professional soccer players that would tell you that they would rather play in 88-degree weather than 48-degree weather.
Oh, Suarez did well to split it. Field clearance. And here comes Charleston the other way. The flag is down. And then slowing things up. Creative. And as Williams comes to it, but perhaps Charleston is in waste some time mode. We'll see.
Well, I think there was another example of just being up the pitch with nobody to pass it to.
Right. They've
done that a few times tonight. They'll have to work on that as the season goes on. I think part of it, too, is we get the stoppage time and we got 3 minutes of added time for your viewing pleasure.
Extra time brought to you by MUSC Health Sports Medicine.
Of additional time, 3 minutes.
Yeah, 48 degrees. That's not spring break weather in Charleston, but it certainly could be USL soccer weather.
Absolutely, but the issue became on that last breakaway, you're in the 90th minute, you don't know how much stoppage time there's going to be. Do you take it to the flag or do you continue to try to, you know, get another one and put this game out of play?
Perhaps Sachero just felt he didn't have the speed advantage. Have a whistle here, and Sheldon went tumbling. Encarnacion trying to get a handle of things. I think he's officiated a fair match tonight.
He's given out a lot of cards, but I don't think that really he's handed any out that weren't deserving. You know, we talked about
we had the benefit of DaCosta's in slow motion. Yeah. I'm going to go to the monitor here in that situation to take another look to see if it was warranted. The VAR, if you will. As that trickles out of play. Time running out here on FC Tulsa.
Once again, pointing out we are in the 92nd minute. And basically since the 56th, it has been Tulsa playing down a man. And if the CG is not on the screen, there is no way anybody watching this match, with the exception of counting white kits, could tell you that Tulsa's been playing down a man for that length of a time.
And not let it become an excuse for not putting themselves in advantageous situations. Let's see if Charleston tries to get another here in the final minute or so. Tulsa then got back.
Another example of just taking too long to pull the trigger on the shot.
Does FC Tulsa have one last gasp?
Charleston, instead of looking to score once again, should have just taken it to the corner and run out the clock, giving Tulsa no opportunity to equalize this one.
This might do it here, though. As the seconds tick down, Charleston may have a season-opening victory tonight. They're going 10, 15, and 7 last year, finishing 10th in the East, missing the playoffs for the first time in forever. Charleston Battery brought in a new head coach, former U.S. men's national team player Connor Casey. He has quickly instilled an attacking, high-line pressing system. Earned a victory over MLS expansion Charlotte FC in the preseason. The Carolina Cup Challenge. And tonight, a 1-0 victory over FC Tulsa to start the Connor Casey era.
That's the final whistle.
A 10th-minute goal from Augustine Williams earns him tonight's Heineken Man of the Match. Williams passing it in the nets early in the first half. And Charleston Battery have earned a 1-0 win tonight at Patriots Point.
Williams with an outstanding effort to get that lone goal. He'll appreciate getting the Man of the Match honors as well as the first goal of the 2022 campaign.
It's Charleston Battery 1, FC Tulsa 0. The Battery start the Connor Casey era on a high note tonight.
As the official healthcare providers of the Charleston
Your vacation, your beach, your fields of green, skies of blue, mountains of majesty. You're an athlete, you're obsessed, you're in love, you're in pain, spirit drained, in agony, fighting gravity, because you made a commitment to yourself and others to work on your game, build your frame in blazing heat, exhausted and beat. You're not alone. You're supported, pushed, tested, tried, trued, broken, fixed, and put back on track to do it all again. Your road is long, an open highway completely secluded, jammed with traffic, horns blaring, sirens screaming, speed limit, near misses, head-on collisions, body shops, rest stops, so many tolls to pay. Your destination isn't a place, it's a record, a dance, a feeling. Hands in the air, stands on their feet, joy all around. Because when you refuse to yield, your spirit is revealed. You are an athlete. MUSC Health, Sports Medicine.
Tonight's final score brought to you by Wicked Weed Brewing. It's the Charleston Battery 1, FC Tulsa 0 on the opening weekend of the 2022 USL campaign. Bruce, let's take a look at it all happened. There were plenty of opportunities for both sides from the early get-go here at Patriots Point, but the first tally coming in the 10th minute, a miscue at midfield, and Charleston Battery was off to the races.
Yeah, they really were, and just, we've seen this movie throughout the evening, but this time, just finding the right angle. Williams directs it into the corner. 1-0, all the scoring for the evening. The other story in this one, 10 cards.
Too, the physicality was certainly present throughout the match. That was the first yellow card on Rodrigo da Costa, which certainly became a storyline later in this match. Moving forward now to the 37th minute. And another giveaway from FC Tulsa led to the second breakaway, and Apodaca had two brilliant passes. Andrew Booth almost finished this one.
Yeah, he just punched it, and he just punched it with just too much on it. He needed just to keep the ball closer to the ground. Nonetheless, we stay at 1-0.
On to the 56th minute, and our first red card, it's da Costa. The foot came high, didn't make contact, then came low, and it did, and that was enough to send him off.
Looked a lot worse in actual time than it did in slow motion. Nonetheless, Rodrigo da Costa hits the showers, and from here on out, it was Tulsa trying to do everything they could down a man.
Suarez, despite being surrounded by 3 Battery players, was out on the break, brought down, and led to an opportunity on the rebound. That was handled well by Charleston. Now to the 88th minute. FC Tulsa kept fighting, down a man. A chance here was saved well by Kuzminski.
Yeah, nice save, but it's interesting. We get to the 88th minute, and we're still showing Tulsa trying down a man to equalize.
They did not lie down tonight. Here are your final stats. Brought to you by Wicked Weed. Again, that 16-9 advantage for FC Tulsa in shots, but just 2 of those 16 were on target. Despite possession advantage, the shots advantage, sometimes it doesn't always mean an advantage in the score column.
What's interesting is Tulsa at 62% higher than when they played at full strength. But as I said in the first half, the only stat that ever matters is the one next to the word goals, and that belongs to Charleston, opening up the season with a 1-0 win at home.
For our director, Ava Ponte, my partner, Bruce Silverman, I'm AJ Ricketts. It's Charleston 1-0.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.